All right. Well, this is my first video ever. It's kind of funny. I got the little glare on my nose from the glasses. But anyway, um, so what I'm going to talk about today is my journey to become debt free. There was a point where, I was debt free in the past and I slacked, and now I am back in debt. And so I am working to get myself back out of debt. And I'm going to share a little bit about some of the tools I'm using and some of the methods that I'm using to help me on this journey. And if it's helpful to you, hey, feel free to use it for yourself. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this will work and continue to record. Uh, I don't know if that's going to record or not. Hopefully it will. Looks like it is. Let's say that I have another error here, whatever. Okay, so if everyone can see my screen, I got this from a gal. I'm trying to remember her name. I'll mention it later, or I'll put it in the show notes. So, I just got advertised this. This is a tool for I think it was like $10, 9.95, and it creates this whole spreadsheet. And you can basically after you. So there's instructions here. Actually, it probably has her name in here. Yeah, Abby Organizes. That's the name of this person that developed this spreadsheet. So the first step is here after you watch the video and it tells you is you put in your all your debts and the minimum payments and the interest, right? So I did this here, and then it populates here in your debt payoff schedule. So far, if you go back in here, I paid off Care Credit, which was like, I think it was like $8,700. And then I owed the IRS money, which was like $7,400. And then the Franchise Tax Board, I owed them $1,000 or more than that. And there's 1,000 left. And now I think it's 750 because I just made another payment. So that's not accurate. So those are the ones I focused on first. And the reason I did that was to open up more cash flow. So the payment for the care credit was around $320. That's a lot. And that's high interest too. It was like 32, 33% interest every month. And then the IRS payment was $333. And as you can see here, the franchise tax board is $250. So by paying those three, I think it was at what, 330, 330, that's like, $666 plus 250. That's like over 900 bucks. I'm just rounding up here off the top of the head. So yeah, so I paid those off. So I have over $900 in cash flow right away to go ahead and tackle these other debts. Now, in this method, with this worksheet, you can toggle between two different methods. I'm choosing Avalanche because I want to tackle the debts that have the higher interest rate first, right? So one thing I was looking at was how much cash flow can I unlock, which means how much extra money can I unlock by paying something off, and then what's the highest percentage? So what's going to save me money, And then you can click here and switch it to Snowball, and it will change it. So it's telling me, to do the franchise tax board, and this will be paid off in April, right? Um, so I'm doing it this way, and so my next debt to pay is PayPal. So I'm using a combination of things. One of the guys that I work with, his name's Denzel Rodriguez. He goes by the Finance Geek. He's been a mentor to me for many years, and he helped me get out of debt last time, and I've accomplished quite a few things in my career and in my financial journey that I wanted to do. I was able to do because of his help. One of the first things that I focused on was increasing my credit rating, my FICO score, because that was not very good, and I didn't have many good credit options because of that, because my credit score is low. So I did that and I moved some things around. I can go into that in another video. But today I want to focus on this. So the reason I mention that is because um, I've used what's called the velocity banking method, and I have what's called a line of credit. So I have two. I have a personal line of credit, and I have a home equity line of credit. So I'm leveraging the personal line of credit, and right now, the amount that is due in that one that I've been running my bills through is has a balance around $8,000. So every pay period, I get paid around $4,000 per pay period. So what I'll do is I'll with that $8,000 balance is I'll drop my whole paycheck in there, the whole $4,000. And as you can see here, my monthly debt payment is $4,536. It was higher, but because I paid off some of those debts, it's gone down. So about half of my pay is going towards debt. So what I'll do is I'll leave that money in there. And so let's just make it easy. So we'll just divide this in half, which would be around, $2,200 and $25, right? 2,250 or 260, something like that. I could jump on a calculator and but it's not exactly that amount. But as bills come out and things are paid through my checking, it will pull from my personal line of credit to pay that bill. So basically, my checking account is most of the time it's at zero, and then when a bill comes through, it sees that there's no money in the checking account, and it will pull from the personal line of credit. And the reason that's beneficial is because lines of credit are calculated by simple daily interest, excuse me. And so that's another way to save on interest. So now my goal is like, next time I get paid, I'm going to drop that $4,000 into the line of credit, which is around an $8,000 balance now. And that'll bring the balance down to about $4,000. And then with this 4,536, let's just divide it in half. So 4,536 divided by 2 is 2,200. I said 68 is what it is. So what's going to happen is those bills are going to come out and it's going to pull from the line of credit. So it's going to increase my balance, right? So I'll just add 4,000 to that. So then my balance is going to go up in the middle of the month to the $6,268. But then at the end of the month, I'll get paid again. So we'll minus the $4,000 and that'll bring my balance down to 2,268. So, but then those bills will come out again, approximately half, right? So I'll add 2,268, and that will be back at the balance there of 4,536. And then I'm going to minus the 4,000 because I paid again, and then that will knock the balance down to $536. Then the bills will come out again at what was it? 2,268. So I'll add that 2,268. So then my balance will go up next pay period to $2,804. So then when I get paid again, I'll minus that $4,000 and I'll have a positive balance in my checking of $1,196. At this point is when I will do what's called a chunk payment towards this PayPal credit card. I will pull from the line, I will pay it in full, and it will pull from the line of credit. So let's say I have that right now, I'm sure my calculator is minus 1196, but I'm going to add this amount here of the $3,736. So plus $3,736. And that comes to a balance of $2,540. So then when I get paid again, right, it's going to minus 4,000, right? And then my monthly bills are plus 2,268. So then I'll have a balance of $808. So then when I get paid again, I'll minus 4,000. I'll basically have $3,192 in available to me in checking. So then I will focus on this Citi thank you card and I'll pay that off in full. So I'll uh so minus that, so I'm 3,000. So I'll hit plus 4,000. which will bring my balance up to $808 in my line of credit. So then when I get and then I have my bills, right? We're still going to assume that it's probably going to go down this monthly payment because I just paid this one off. So that $146 per month is it's probably gonna lower this down to, about $4,400 a month. So let's just go with that number, right? And I'll do plus 2,200 instead, and my balance will be in the line of credit will be $3,008. Well, I'll get paid in 2 weeks, so I'll minus 4,000. So then I have positive in my checking of 992. So, and I could just continue to do that, right? So then I would go, since, I'm at a positive balance again, I'm going to focus on this next credit card, right? And I have it on automatic, just, I have it on automatic payments with all the rest of my cards, and that's how that money is taken out right here, of the $4,200 now, or yeah, per month, something like that, 4,400 per month. So then I will focus on this next high debt, which is a 27% interest rate. So I'll plus $4,365, which will put my line of credit at a total of $3,373. Well, I get paid again, right? So I'll minus that 4,000, and then I'll add the 2,200 for expenses. And then my line of credit's at a balance of 1,573. Now, I don't know how many times, I didn't count how many times, I pulled in and out of the line of credit and got paid. It might be 6 times or something like that. So that total process will take probably 3 to 4 months. And I will have tackled paying off, one, two, three credit cards relatively quickly. So I'm going to free up about, let's see, was it $146 per month, another $140, plus this one of 109, 109. So I'm going to free up another almost $400 of cash flow, right? This debt payment is going to go down probably to about 4,000 per month, right? So then I can just rinse and repeat this process and keep paying off this debt until I get down to zero. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check in, every 2 weeks or once a month and share my progress. There's another cool feature on this, and you might have been wondering, this tab down here is called the debt payoff dashboard. So this is my current starting debt. I was at 157. Right now I'm at 135,771. So I've already tackled, $22,000 of debt. And that's a lot. And a lot of that is going to the bank. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay interest on to the bank. So I'm trying to work on that. And I'd rather keep more of my money than give it away. And then I can use that money to buy assets. Um, so it's saying right here that my debt-free date is August 2029. Now, I think I'll be able to do it faster than that because I'm using a combination of Velocity Banking and Avalanche together. And also, I work in a job where I get bonuses and commissions. So as those come in, I can go ahead and tackle that and focus that towards these debts. So anyway, so this is my very first video talking about my debt journey. I really appreciate, everyone who's taken the time to, listen to me ramble. If none of this makes sense to you, hey, that's okay. I'm happy to explain it further. Feel free to reach out to me. Send me a note and I'll reach out to you. I'll send you my email address or what have you, or we can jump on a quick call. I can send you a Google Meet or something, and I can walk you through it in more detail. I've had people that help me out through my financial journey and help me pay off debt. And I'd like to return the favor to those people that might be struggling with a lot of debt and they want to get out of debt and they want that weight lifted off their shoulders because it really feels, heavy and stressful, and if someone in your family or you lose your job and you have all this debt, it becomes even more stressful, right? Because then you have to try to find another job. Maybe you're, living off of credit cards to stay afloat, or you don't have an emergency fund, which is something that I have in place today, where I didn't before. So Anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll check back in 2 to 4 weeks, something like that. Or when I have an update, I'll go ahead and do another video. But thanks for listening. And if you need any help, feel free to reach out. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks. Bye.